before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. So, let's get into it. Alright, so week 18 of the NFL season has come to a close, and for the Chicago Bears in the last game of the season, they take a 29-13 loss at home to the Minnesota Vikings. In this video, I'm just going to recap what I saw during the game, and give up some big news at the end of the video. So, without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video. Today, we're doing the Bears. I was not able to get a midweek video up, and I'll explain that right now because I was sick. I caught COVID again, so if I still sound a little congested, if I start coughing during this video, that's why. I haven't been able to upload. I've been bedridden, so it has not been a fun time for me, but I figured I'd get this up as well. So yeah, let's get straight into it. The Bears take a 29-13 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not going to hold y'all for too much longer. I'm going to try to keep it short. Elephant in the room, how did our quarterbacks play on Sunday? Well, we had two quarterbacks. It was Nathan Peterman and Tim Boyle. Peterman went 11 of 19 for 114 yards, 10 yards per throw and threw a touchdown, and took one sack. Tim Boyle was 2 of 8 for 33 yards. He averaged 16 yards per throw, but he threw 2 interceptions. One of them was the worst interception I've seen all season. Again, no Justin Fields this week. They sat him for the last game. Smart decision. Peterman and Tim Boyle were basically just fighting out for the backup spot. I did like Peterman a little bit better. He played pretty well, all things considering. But you know, it is what it is in that regard. The Bears take the L, and they had no quarterback on Sunday. So, moving on. Rushing the ball, Khalil Herbert had 10 attempts for 50 yards. He averaged 5 yards per carry. Velus Jones had a touchdown rushing the ball. He had 42 yards rushing on one end around. Really like how he's been playing. David Montgomery only had 7 carries for 21 yards. He only averaged 3 yards per carry, which might be his final. This might be his final game as a Bear, so keep that in mind. But other than that, the rushing game, again, offense wasn't much of a factor in this game. You know, we have a lot of moving parts going into the offseason. And, you know, rushing the ball, it was just basic. No Justin Fields, like I said, and he accounts for 50% of our rushing game. So, you know, that it is what it is. The Vikings defense kind of shut down the rushing game, especially in the second half. Receiving, Cole Kmet sighting. He had 5 targets for 4 receptions for 57 yards. He had 1 touchdown on the day, and which was nice. Good screenplay as well. He's really shown some things this season. I think he leads the Bears in touchdowns for a receiver, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to check that. Chase Claypool, he had 6 targets, 2 receptions for 29 yards. Claypool was frustrated after the Tim Boyle interception, the second one. You know, Claypool, you know, he's gonna take some time to work out with Fields during the offseason so they can get more, you know, integrated with each other. They know each other's strengths. They know each other's weaknesses. So that's where we're at with Claypool. Hopefully he can be, you know, a big factor going into next year. Velus Jones made 1 catch for 28 yards. Again, really like how he's playing. He's making the most of his time. Other than that, Dante Pettis dropping passes, and nobody else got a catch on the day. So, receiving game, as usual, pretty much a disappointment. Defense was basic. Again, the Vikings scored 29 points. Alexander Madison had 2 rushing touchdowns. Our leading tackler on the day was Joe Thomas, yet again with 14 total tackles, 10 solo tackles, and 2 tackles for loss. Jaquan Brisker, he had 10 tackles, 5 solo tackles, and 1 pass deflection. It should have been an interception, but it went off the tips of his hands. Other than that, you know, we had a lot of rookies and backups playing for the Bears in their secondary, and they struggled mightily. Still no pressure on the quarterback. They did not have a sack. So definitely going into the offseason, they're going to have to address the pass rushing issue. But defense, it is what it is. The Vikings came to win. They had something to play for, and they did their job on offense. But they made it very, very – they didn't make it easy for themselves either. Kick return and special teams. Cairo Santos, for a rare occurrence, did not hit a field goal in this game, but he did have an extra point. Velus Jones had 4 returns for 82 yards and averaged 20.5 yards per return. Again, really like how he's been playing as of recently. He's starting to put it together. I'd like to see him with a full offseason under his belt and him being healthy, so he can learn this playbook and get more accustomed to being a traditional wide receiver type. Dante Pettis on punt return. You know, it is what it is about that. But yeah, the Bears take a 29-13 loss. I'm not going to give no grades or anything like that because this game just is what it is. And I'll wrap up more with the season recap on maybe this week on Wednesday. But the big news for yesterday, the Bears, with the Texans beating the Colts yesterday, the Bears now have the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. Yes, the Bears have a number 1 overall pick, something that hasn't happened since 1940. I'm excited. There's so many things they can do with this pick. I'll go into more detail with the season wrap-up video in the midweek. But there's so many things they can do with this pick. They can get Justin Fields a whole lot of help. They can put a lot of talent on this team. They can take the best player available. They can trade back. Thank you to the Texans for beating the Colts. Thank you, Lovie Smith. He once again comes through for the Chicago Bears. It's very good. It's going to be a very exciting offseason for the Chicago Bears. And they have a lot. They have the most cap space. They have a franchise quarterback. And all they need to do is put some talent around him, put some receivers around him, get him an offensive line, and fix up that defense a little bit. And you can say the Bears are in business going into next season. But yeah, and that's about it. The Bears season is over, so I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys for rocking with me in this video. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. It helps the channel grow. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop one of these Bears videos. Follow me on social media for news during the off season. And I'm out of here. Bear down. Peace.